This is a case of a murder most of all. The way and manner in which the deceased was killed is unfathomable. She was decapitated from the head, the arms, as well as the lower limbs. Currently, as we speak, the lower limbs were able to be traced, and the missing parts of the body is the head, the neck, as well as the arm.
When we first covered Joy Kanini's story, there were more questions than answers. The man police believed was responsible had disappeared. Joy's family was still searching for parts of her remains, and detectives were racing against time before the trail went cold. But today, everything has changed. The suspect has been arrested. He's been taken back to Nyeri. Detectives say he led them to one final location, where they made the discovery Joy's family had been praying for. But this breakthrough has also uncovered something even more disturbing. Police now believe he may not have acted alone. So, how was the suspect finally captured? What evidence did detectives recover? And what happens next in court? I'm Joy, and this is Crime Dopers.
Twisted tales in every folder. Truth runs hot while the trail gets colder. Crime Dopers. We don't look away.
Welcome back, Crime Dopers, where crime meets truth. A few weeks ago, we brought you the heartbreaking story of Joy Kanini, the 25-year-old entrepreneur whose murder shocked Kenya. At that time, the investigation was still unfolding. Now, there have been significant developments. Authorities have arrested the prime suspect, recovered additional evidence, and revealed new details about what investigators believe happened after Joy's death. Today's episode follows those developments and explains what they could mean as the case moves through Kenya's justice system. One of the biggest questions after our first episode was simple. Where was John Diru Muriithi? For weeks, detectives tracked leads across several counties. According to investigators, the search ended during a night operation in Timau, Meru County, where the suspect was arrested while allegedly attempting to continue his escape toward the Uganda border. Think about that. The investigation had moved far beyond Nyeri. Detectives weren't just solving a homicide anymore. They were trying to stop a fugitive before he disappeared completely. Following the arrest, homicide detectives immediately began questioning him and retracing the investigation timeline. But what happened next surprised even experienced investigators. From the very beginning, there was one detail that made this case particularly painful. Joy's family couldn't bury their daughter, not because they didn't want to, but because not all of her remains had been recovered. That uncertainty had haunted every stage of the investigation. Then, police announced a major breakthrough. According to the DCI, the suspect led detectives to a 20-foot deep pit latrine in Gangariri Estate. There, they recovered Joy's missing head after weeks of searching. Imagine what that moment meant for her family. Not relief, because nothing can erase this kind of loss, but perhaps the beginning of closure. For investigators, the recovery also strengthened the forensic case, allowing additional DNA testing and reconstruction of the crime. As investigators continued examining evidence, another development emerged. Police disclosed that they are pursuing additional suspects. According to investigators, they are also examining whether family members or others may have assisted the suspect after the murder by helping him flee or conceal evidence. It's important to pause here. Being investigated does not mean someone is guilty. Whether anyone else will ultimately face charges depends on the evidence gathered and decisions by prosecutors. But if investigators are correct, this case may be larger than initially believed. One of the biggest questions now is whether anyone helped transport or dispose of Joy's remains. That remains part of the ongoing investigation. Following the arrest, detectives applied for more time to complete the investigation. The Nyeri law courts granted investigators a 21-day custodial order, allowing the suspect to remain in police custody while homicide detectives completed forensic examinations, witness interviews, and a court-ordered mental assessment. The case is expected to return to court for mention before moving towards the next legal stages, including formal charges and eventual transfer to the High Court if murder charges proceed. For Joy's family, this is only the beginning. An arrest doesn't equal justice. Justice requires evidence, a fair trial, and ultimately, a verdict delivered by the courts.
Looking at the application, it does raise serious issues or grounds as to why the respondent should be detained, such as interference with witnesses, recovery of some evidence, medical and forensic examination. While the Constitution does protect the respondent's right not to be held unnecessarily and to a speedy trial, the same Constitution does protect the right of the deceased to justice, considering the nature of the offense being investigated and the investigations need to be thoroughly done. In order to mount a case, I will allow the application. However, the period of extension will be 21 days.
This update reminds us that investigations don't end when headlines fade. Sometimes the biggest breakthroughs happen weeks later. Sometimes families wait months before receiving answers, and sometimes the pursuit of justice requires extraordinary patience. As this case continues through the legal process, Crime Dopers will continue following verified developments and separating confirmed facts from speculation, because Joy Kanini deserves more than a moment of public attention. She deserves to be remembered, and her family deserves justice. If you've been following Joy's case since our very first documentary, let me know in the comment sections. Do you think this latest breakthrough brings the family closer to justice? Or do you believe there are still major questions that investigators need to answer? As always, let's keep the conversation respectful and focused on verified information. If new developments emerge, including court proceedings, forensic findings, or official statements, we'll bring you another update here on Crime Dopers. Until next time, I'm Wanja, and this is Crime Dopers, where crime meets truth.
Crime Dopers. We don't look away.